Greetings, fellow pet lovers. How's everyone doing today? Have you ever wondered what sets apart an account from being super irresistible on social media from one that you kind of just scroll past? So today we're going to be going over how to diversify your pet content portfolio and how to make you more attractive to your followers and to the brands that are hiring you. Quick show of hands, just because I'm really interested in where everyone comes from. Is anyone influencer, content creator, or brand? So I'll do influencers. Who's an influencer? Awesome. Content creators? Cool. I'll be going over the difference in this presentation, don't worry. And brand that hires animal talent. Okay, awesome. Oh, this is such a cool, diverse mix. Is there anyone else? Follow something else? Okay. I know we have a couple rest groups in here too, so thanks for the work that you do. Okay, this is what we're going to be going over today in basic presentation. But before I dive into that, I need to tell you a little bit about myself and my company. I founded Pets on Cue 10 years ago. We are the only licensed, bonded, and insured animal agency or agency that focuses on animal talent in the country. That works with influencers and animal actors. I founded it to make the industry better. I founded it for things to be more transparent in the industry. You may also know me from Petstars on Netflix. Mel is my COO, and she still works with me, and she is my actual best friend. As a company, we have a few different products that we offer. Internally, we use a platform called Pet Influencer AI, which tracks the analytics and valuations of influencers for brands that are looking to hire them. We also have Petstars Academy, as we call PSA, which is our learning community base for our animal talent team, so from wranglers, animal actors, influencers. And the Animalist is our new product. You guys are actually the first to hear about it because it's supposed to be keynote. We are launching that on April 11th. I'll be going over that in a little bit. Okay. So the difference between a pet influencer and a content creator, it is a very small difference. Every single influencer is also a content creator, so it's kind of a trick question earlier. Anyone that creates content online is considered a content creator, whether you do UGC or you post it online. You are a content creator. The difference that makes someone a pet influencer over a content creator, and I feel like there's so much negative connotation to the word influencer now because there's been a lot of overcharging and whatnot, and some brands have a negative impression, even influencers have a negative impression of what it is. For me, it's very simply someone who can influence someone else's buying decisions. Just influence someone to follow you. Influence someone, or follow a brand, sorry. Influence someone to make a purchase of a product. Influence someone to listen to a song. If you can do that as a content creator, you are also an influencer. Like the original influencers before social media came around were groomers, were veterinarians, were dog trainers. And now a lot of people are turning to social media for those things. That leads me to my next slide. This is not efficient, sorry guys. Okay, it leads me to the market and where we're at in the industry. Back to my point, 49% of people use social media for their buying decisions. And I'm gonna have a slide at the end where you guys can get access to the slide. So you can take pictures as much as you want, I love it. It's not, but at the end I will be giving you that. So for brands, 49% think it is the norm to pay influencers. That is less than 50% of brands thinks it's normal to pay influencers. Just keep that in mind. 24% want to pay based off the percentage of sales, and 19% want to give them free product. And I think that is very accurate for the industry as an agency. That's kind of very similar to what we get. And a lot of the free products that I think we work with is more expensive products. So if you're an influencer and your valuation is $100 and a brand wants to give you a $500 product, that makes sense, right? The main purpose for running influencer campaigns from brands has shifted from past years. And this is something that I think is really important for a lot of people to know. 45% of brands are not using it, they're not using it for sales, they're not using it for brand awareness anymore. It is shifted over, they need user-generated content for a few reasons, and I'll be going over what those reasons are, but that is what they need. And it's gone down to under 30% are looking for sales generation. This will get this right at some point. Okay, So that leads me to why you need to have a diverse content portfolio, why you need to have additional offerings for brands so that you become more valuable to them. So you have something that you can offer them, in addition to just one influencer post. You want to be able to give them more, and it'll make them work. Okay. So we also did this brand survey, and I found it really fascinating that 90% of brands wanted these two things when working with you. Number one was ease to work with. It's very difficult to run an influencer campaign, and if you are difficult to work with, they are not going to hire you again. Period. Like that's it. Unless you give them great results. And being adaptable on your budget, and I don't mean if your price point's $1,000 that you should go down to $100, but brands' budgets are shifting. They are shifting right now, and it's something that people need to be more cognizant of, is understanding that there's going to be some give and pull on both sides when negotiating a contract, and just being friendly and adaptable and giving them different options is just going to show up so much better for you. And especially with us when we're hiring influencers, those that are like, hey, this is my price point, but I do have wiggle room if I need anything. And those are the people that I really fight for to get them more money. Because I'm like, this is a really cool person, I want to work with them, they're easy to work with, like they're very clearly professional. And also, please give me the next one. 75% of brands wanted to work with people that were professional. I wrote that down into a few different categories. They want to know that other brands that have worked with you, that they had a good experience with you. And that you generated some kind of ROI for the brand. They wanted to know prior jobs that you've worked with, that you're not going to ghost them. Like that is something that brands are looking for. Then on the flip side, we did a quick survey for the animal talent, and it pretty much came down to everyone's main goal. Obviously, all goals are great, but their main goal in working with a hiring party was either audience goals, opportunities, or income. So for audience goals, that means you're looking to grow your audience, you are looking to build a community, you're looking to increase your engagement, you're looking to build this passionate group of people that is very like-minded. Opportunities, if you wanted to do PR, like if you wanted to go on a news organization, they're never really going to pay for that. If you want to do a TV show, there's great opportunities out there, or collaborating with other influencers, and this is a great place to be able to do that. And the number one was financial stability in this industry. Who wants financial stability with their pets, right? Okay, so I'm around here, right? And I know this is diversifying your content portfolio, but I'm more into making you guys money, so that's what we're going to be going over to in this presentation. So here's different ways to diversify your monetization opportunities. Now I have a bunch up here, and I'm going to focus on the influencers and animal content creators primarily. But the most obvious way is through brand deals. You're exchanging a payment for a social media post or multiple social media posts. That is a very stereotypical brand deal. That's how those work. Affiliate partnerships is you are given product in exchange for a percentage of any sale or any, in the industry, ROI, return on investment for a brand, that they're going to give you a percentage of that. Whitelisting is when a brand will use your platform and your content and promote on it. They're going to put ad spend behind it onto your platform. So that could, if there's a win-win there, sometimes it's typically they'll pay for it, and also it's promoting out to your audience and people that are like-minded to your audience, so you could potentially get more followers that way with whitelisting. So some influencers pay extra, some influencers want extra for that, some do not for various reasons, depending on what your goals are. I would have a different response on what you should do. UGC is, everyone knows what UGC is? Does anyone not know? Yeah? User-generated content. That's when you're creating content for a brand and you are giving them your content. You're not posting anything on social media. So if you are even a big influencer, some of our largest influencers on long-term partnerships, we will throw in UGC to sweeten the deal. We will throw in, or if the brand wants that as well, we'll also charge for that. UGC is a great way to give brand additional content for them to be able to market to their audience, do ad spend behind it, and is a great add-on if you are doing different partnerships. Okay, licensing. Most of the licensing that we've done, which is licensing the rights to the content that you've developed to a brand or service party provider that's paying for that. So example of that would be, we've licensed a video to be on a Super Bowl commercial. that someone created for social media, and then it went all the way there. We have licensed photos to be on greeting cards, photos in the background of a movie. If you see a dog there, a horse there, like that's a licensed image. So they're paid for that. License your videos on when the Ellen Show was around, like that. When the video's on in the background, that is licensed, that is paid for content. So a lot of brands will say, hey, like, give me the rights to your content and I'll do that. They're getting paid for that. So you need to be able to protect that for yourselves, and that's a big tip I give you. Creator funds are becoming a great way for you to be able to monetize your audience, and that they're growing on different platforms. It's been great. Merchandising your products, usage rights and exclusivity, those are add-ons that we typically do in brand partnerships. There's different ways that you can diversify how you work with brands. There are other ways to do it. We also work with a lot of animal actors, therapy animals. I mean, there's a lot of animals here for this event, but they're paid to be here to be tricked. No, stop it. Trick cats or dogs. Let's see, let's not do that. Like, there's so many creative ways that you can diversify, and I was just speaking to someone yesterday, and his dog does search and rescue. And that is another way that you can, brands love these stories. They love that you have additional things to offer, and if they just know that, it can seal you the deal. Like, they're not hiring someone just on your follower count. They're hiring you based on, look up your page. I'm going to go on a tangent now. Let's continue. Okay, so back to your content creation. I would highly recommend extending to as many social media networks as possible. Everything on social media and content development, it's technology, and technology changes very rapidly. Being on as many platforms as you can manage, there are so many tools out there as well, tech that can help you with that. We use Repurpose.io to be able to auto-post on other platforms. If you haven't written that down, that's a good tip. We love that product because it allows us to post on TikTok and then automatically post on YouTube. Automatically post the ones that we select on Instagram, or manually post it and move it over. There's a lot of those where it really does help you and help your brand be able to grow if you save time and are able to post on as many social media networks as possible. Last few years, and there's been many years, Instagram was king. That's not the case anymore. And if you didn't expand over to TikTok before, it's harder to get there. It's higher engagement. It's having higher conversion rates. That's where you should be going. Not like you should be going there, who knows what happens in Congress, you know? Do whatever you love to do. Okay, diversifying the type of content you create. And I feel like I have a different answer for every single person I speak to. This is supposed to be a video, I swear it's really cute. Okay, so photo content and video content are still the two most, yes, no. Okay, it's very, very cute. Right, if you read the text and the song behind it is, I don't know, I can show you the original, it's adorable. Okay, so if you are a content creator like Waki is here, a photo content, like she is a great photographer. She knows her lighting, she knows her angles, and when photo was king, she was this massive account. She still is, because she adjusted and learned how to edit videos. And she's a great influencer. I mean, that's not Waki, but she's a great influencer that took her editing skills in photography and converted it to video when video started to become more popular. And I would say that it's going to go back and forth, because sometimes people get sick of video. You know, there's so much video and there's so much content out there. I don't see video taking a second place to photo in the near future. I do think that video is primarily what our brands are hiring, but they always want photo content too. Almost always, and it's always a secondary thing, because brands are seeing that video content is converting a better ROI for them than photo content. So I would recommend right now to just improve on all the skills you have, but video would be the one that I would focus on as of right now. If you are a professional photographer, there are so many ways that you can monetize that, and professional photography is really hard to fake. But AI is also coming into play now, and that's I have a love-hate relationship with it. Love and hate. Okay, I have a few points on this slide to make. So diversifying your service offerings, meaning to be able to offer, all of these influencers have done multiple campaigns with us, right? And no two campaigns are the same. No two campaigns are exact. Even within one campaign, they could want different things from different influencers. So, and my point in this is, I want you to be able to stick to a niche content-wise while diversifying your offerings and diversifying what you're doing. So, but sticking to your niche, like if you, have this cutie right here, right? And let's say he has a cat at home that he's never posted before, and all of a sudden his account turns to a cat account. You're going to lose your audience. That's my point, like sticking to your niche. So like Nathan the cat lady, the man in the middle, like his stuff is very clearly comedy. He has never posted about a girlfriend, he's never posted, like he sticks to his niche and he knows what his brand is, and he's so smart for doing that. Every single account here was selected because of the niche that they represent and the type of content that they create. So we have some lifestyle, we have some commercial account in here, we have an outdoorsy account, Henry Colorado. This account focuses on comedy and rescue, and then I just really like that we did a guinea pig. That's why that's there. But like Jackson the Dalmatian over here and Kobe the cat, these two are very lifestyle, they're very clean, and like Jackson now has converted some of his audience to be a little more commercial and comedy, and they've done the transition over years. So it's kept the audience with him. That's my quote. She still posts about her Dalmatian. She still posts some of the content that she's doing, and she knows her niche and she sticks to it. And that's my big point here, and why brands hire one influencer over another. A quick story on some of this is like with every single campaign, they're checking out your page. If you post something off brand, or we just had someone that was a shoo-in for a campaign, and they started posting about their kitten, not their cat, for the past 2 months. Their cat wasn't in their content for 2 months. The brand assumed that the cat had died, and their product was for adult cats, not kittens. And they lost a $40,000 deal because of 1.5 months of changing up their content. $40,000 deal. My blood still boils over this. I'm like, no, the cat's fine. She just got a kitten and she loves the kitten. Like, the adult cat's in some of the content. It's okay. And they're like, Matt, but they it was a long-term partnership. There's a lot to it. It was a good deal. Okay, diversifying your types of content. So I'm going to be focusing on Kobe the cat. Short-term partnerships. So this was with Kat Von D Beauty. Short-term partnerships, they're looking to hire you as a trial. Most of the short-term partnerships that we do, they want a variety of influencers, and they're testing different styles of influencers, like I showed on the last part. They're testing different content types, and they're wanting to see what is going to convert for them. What converts for them is then what they will take and either hire a bigger influencer or rehire you to do a long-term partnership. Now, those are kind of the two most popular ones, the long-term partnerships. Long-term partnerships also include additional UGC, additional usage rights within contracts that are included in there. Also, sometimes, that's what I said earlier, we do include some UGC in that most of the time. In-person jobs, like animal acting jobs, like Kobe did here, that was also a long-term partnership plus an acting job and in person. We only recommend that if your animal is ready. I believe like all the animals that are here would probably be fine at that. This is a high-stress environment, a lot of people here, but everyone has those pets that are hiding under the bed that should not be doing this, and we're trying to make the industry more humane, so don't do that if your animal is not going to like it. Like, why? So, and then I just wanted to show campaigns. We did that for Apple, and it was the Sphinx, and it was just short. That's all. Okay. I think the biggest change in social media and the type of content that is being created now, and the big focus on the brand side and on our side and what we're seeing, is authenticity. The audience has recognized that it is a commercial. That's why these paid campaigns, you're scrolling right past it. Even you guys, when there are commercials and you're just swiping, I do it. I'm like, I didn't do this campaign. I'll swipe by it. Someone else. I'm just kidding. But seriously. But authenticity with your audience, I am always more engaged when it is something that is extremely authentic. This is what I've been feeding my dog for 2 years. As opposed to all the people that are out there like, hey, I've switched my dog food for the 8th time this year. Here's a new dog food. Like, it's not authentic to your audience, and one, you're going to lose your audience, and two, the audience just recognizes it. and they're going to start to see you as a seller. They're becoming more aware of what is happening in the market, and they're going to swipe by. This is why I think authenticity is key, and by that I also mean a lot of the human-based content where people can explain things is on the rise. So that's the big trend that I've noticed. Now this is my final slide. Well, almost my final slide, I should say. So this is what we've been working on for the last couple of years. It is called the Animal List. It is a public marketplace to hire animal talent directly. So if you scan this QR code, we're launching it on April 11th on National Pet Day. I got a little bit longer scanning because it's so cool. So if you scan this QR code, we're going to be sending you an email to get access to it before everybody else. We've been working on the Animal List as just an animal actor marketplace. We've been booking on it, and like we have this cat from Cat Mandata, we have the dog from Only Murders in the Building. We have a lot of really famous animals already in there that are booking jobs through it, which is really awesome. What we're trying to do is make the market, it's almost like a Fiverr, but for hiring animal talent from influencers, content creators. If someone loses their puppy and they need to hire a search and rescue dog, like you can go on the Animal List and find someone local to you where that can help you. And like need to hire an alpaca to walk you down the aisle, like how cool is that? I was just, I'm definitely gonna hire goats to mow my yard at some point because like who wouldn't wanna do that? That sounds like a fun day out with a glass of wine, right? So that's what this marketplace is. You're actually the first to know, and I'm saying the same thing at my keynote, so no one say anything from that if you do go tomorrow. But yeah, so it's the marketplace. So when you finish filling this out, it'll also be linked over to the entire presentation, so you can have that as well. I did it on Canva. You can also use the design whatever you want. And I'm going to ask, does anyone have any questions? This is the same link, so if you missed it before, it's still here. It's okay. This is also my email, if you want to shoot me an email for everything, anything, and it's Colleen Wilson on LinkedIn as well, if you want to. Yeah?
A quick question. You briefly mentioned human-based content. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yeah, so pet-based content versus human-based content. Can you give me more elaboration on that question? Because I could go down a tangent. Yeah.
I would love an example between the two and how one would benefit like a certain audience or niche more than the other.
Okay. Like superhuman based, like a Kendall Jenner, right? That's actually in my keynote. I'm explaining that a bit more. So human-based content, let's go to a pet face. I just met with the dog daddy Harlem, the groomer. Does everyone know who that is? Yeah. I'm Rachel Fusaro, the nutritionist. That is a human-based influencer in the pet space. So she is able to sit there and say, hey, buy this pet food because here's the great ingredients. And he's able to say, hey, I'm a groomer and this is the type of content. The pet-based content doesn't have necessarily a human as the main character. The pet is the main character. The human can come in and out, but the pet is still the main character. Say a good example would probably like I'm trying to think of a good example of that. Someone who's kind of in the content. Walkie kind of, no, she doesn't really do that. Tucker Budzin, like, that she's sometimes in the content, but it's not her account. That's kind of like an in-between account. And then just like, I mean, Scarlet Faith, that one, she's more of a pet-based, right? Like you don't see the owner like Kobe the cat in here. Like you never know what the owner looks like. If you Google Kobe the cat, they'll say Kobe cat's owner, and then the modeling pictures show up, and you don't see her. Because she doesn't want to be in that content. And there's pros and cons, honestly, both sides. I dive into that in the keynote a little bit more, but yeah. Okay, thank you.
If you're kind of just getting started in building your following, would you recommend or advise against posting pictures with brands that you like? Like,
Wait, what platform?
like Instagram?
How are you doing it? Like how, sorry, I think I need to see it. So like, and I'll look at it after and then kind of advise you on that. So I think my answer depends on what I'm looking at. So it's say like there's like a yes and no. Like it could work for you, it could not. I think a lot of brands want to see when people are creating content, and they love when people organically are doing it, so they're more likely to reach out. However, you've already done it for them for free. So then that kind of puts you back in the audiences don't necessarily want to see commercial-based content because they could be thinking that you're getting paid to do that. I swear. Okay. So I think if you're really transparent with your audience and you're like, hey, this is what I used to feed my dog all the time. I'm not an influencer. I didn't get paid to do this. I think that that will go a lot further right now than the other one. Yeah. Does that answer your question? But I will happily like pull up your page and we'll look at it after this and I'll give you my 2 cents because I have no filter. You can't tell. And I will look at anyone's page. So yeah. Okay.
I think that in line with what you were saying, because that's something I've been asked as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think what you mean is like, I mean, I already love that brand, and if I post organically to it or just talk about it in my stories, my blog is, you know, eating that food, particularly hear that, hold that, and engage with the brand.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you're doing it for free, but
Yeah.
you're just showing your audience what you love and everything.
I think there's a way to do it.
Brands reach out to me like, hey, yeah, I like that you tag us, thanks for tagging us, and I start a conversation from there.
Yeah.
So
That's a really good way to do it.
I mean, depends how you do it, I guess.
Yeah. I think if you're organic to your audience and like that should be your main focus at the stage that you're at. Because is your goal, which of the 3 is your goal? To build an audience for financial stability or for opportunities? It's 90% of people said financial stability, like on our survey. So like I'm assuming it's that. Yeah, okay. So if it's for financial stability, like you need to be able to grow your audience first to be able to get there. But right now, the brands are primarily looking to hire nano influencers, micro influencers over the larger influencers. Like that is a big change this year. Again, tomorrow I'll be going through a lot of that in the stats. So I think if you're looking to do it that way, like I would get into UGC. I would get into, and like I would post some and use those as examples, but I wouldn't oversaturate your content with it. If you want that to be what your page is about, like the example with Rachel before, she basically reviews food. She says good and bad, and she is sought after by every single food company. People call her constantly. Yeah, that'd be my advice there to start with. Yeah.
You mentioned micro-influencers. At what point do you recommend an influencer with a certain amount of following to reach out to an agency to utilize that help to get partnerships?
As an agency owner, you can call me now. I don't know. No, we typically take influencers at 1,000.
Oh, okay.
So I know for the animal side, we're the only licensed agency. So, but you don't necessarily need an agent. I'm a great salesperson for my company, I swear. To get going, what we're trying to do with the marketplace and with our learning community is to have you guys do it yourself. Because for an agency, like we have thousands of people on our roster. So getting a really personalized relationship with an agent on my team, I would say is the way to go if you really want an agent, if you want more access to opportunities. But having an agent for your pet, and if you're also looking for like animal actor stuff, I have, like my team has been full for years. So it would be someone on my team that I would happily help in any way. But yeah, over 1,000 followers if you're looking for that type of opportunity, especially if you're growing really quickly and if you have a high engagement rate. I have someone right now and I start working with people even if they're not on our team. So our agency works a little differently than others out there. We have an exclusive side to our agency that we like to work with you for years before we even consider bringing someone on to our exclusive side. We are non-exclusive before then. And also we have our public marketplace because we just kind of feel like it's a relationship and I want to work with people that are in it for the same reasons that I'm in it for. People that are really professional to work with and people that are my friends and I like working with. So I went on a tangent again, didn't I? Yeah. I would say around, I was putting your goals. When you really need an agent is when there's too much work for you.
That makes sense.
Too much reaching out, yeah, you're kind of getting offers left and right. Because you have to keep in mind, if it is a $100 campaign and we keep 15%, my cost to have an employee run that campaign is over $30 an hour. And it's going to take hours each one. So those are the ones that we don't we need more. It just isn't. It's a negative for us, which we still do them all the time, right? But you just have to look at both sides of that.
That's helpful. Thank you.
Thanks.
I thought she was going to ask the same question. But at what point, as a nano influencer, would you say, do you reach out to the brands, or more often is the brands reaching out to you, partner?
Oh, I think it's 50-50.
50-50.
I think really, there's some really good influencers out there that have really great media kits. And actually that's kind of what we're building in here. So we call it a pet folio. So you basically have your whole, it's a portfolio, right? Or a media kit for them to be able to view and go through your different packages and your different offerings, because obviously with big brands out there, you want to charge them a little bit more. But some of the big brands don't want to pay that. So knowing what other brands have worked with you and your general transparent pricing and be able to show that out, that's kind of why we developed that. So then you can take that link and like reach out to brands being like, hey, I've done all these other partnerships. I swear, if anyone knows how to fix that and so your screen doesn't go dark quickly, that'd be awesome. Yeah, but you can go in and say like, I, have these 6 brands that have given me positive reviews. That's going to help you get a job over someone else every day. If you have, it does show that. So if you're able to send out a portfolio, media kit, or pet folio, and it's like you can work with me instantly, and there's the offerings. I think that will set you apart from other people, and then you can reach out to them, especially if you start to get some positive reviews. Yeah. Another question? Yes.
Colleen, do you have any advice for influencers to how do they share their story as part of their media kit, their presentation and pitches? Like Walter, my dog, is a therapy dog. We do hospital volunteer stuff. Nothing special, like lots of people do.
That is special.
Well,
My dog's a therapy dog too.
yeah,
We like hospital visits.
it's special. It's extremely rewarding, and I'm
Yeah.
really glad that we do it. It's the best hour of my week. But how do you weave that into? Because otherwise, I'm going to say something controversial. I think there's a pretty big bias against women in my generation, or influencers in my generation. Brands aren't interested in women over 50. And maybe you think differently, but
Brands aren't interested in me either, so don't worry about that.
not just me, it's everyone and I've been talking with them.
Yeah, no, I think what brands are really focused on now is more of the data and the engagement on the account and who your audience is. Less of who you are. I mean, the only time we have it as brands wanting someone is who you are is like a POC or LGBTQIA campaign, which we love doing. So I think I'm going to go back to our portfolio and what we have. So there's a little about you section, and I think even in your media kits, if you're doing that, you should be highlighting that. The reason why people want to work with you is you. Like, it is your story. If it was between you and someone else in a campaign, having that story will set you apart from someone else. Like, for instance, I'll just go through my story and how I explain that to a brand. So my dog is deaf. I got him from a shelter 10 years ago, and I turned him to become a therapy dog, and then an animal actor, and he's done GQ, right? He's done all these fun things. But the way I work, like, that can come across as arrogant, right? The way I word it is I talk about he's deaf, and when we go into shelters and he does the I love you sign, if someone does the I love you sign, he'll come up and kiss you. Right. The story, that story that's going to capture someone's emotion is what's going to help get him that job over someone else. And that's kind of what I mean by, like, I'm just using that as an example, but for all of you, when you're doing that in your campaign, I would put something like that in your description, something that's going to set you apart. They don't necessarily, like, they will know where you're from in the location. You say, like, my name is Colleen, and I live here, and this is what I'm known for. They want to hear the thing that sets you apart from someone else. So for me, I know that my dog is disabled, and that he's very well trained, and he's deaf, right? Well, the deaf, disabled, same thing, right? But that he's done therapy work, and that he's done other things, and that he loves doing it. And when you're able to get across a little bit of a story, or if you have a dog that surfs and they've done this contest, and you're able to, say they did this. The brands love those stories. And I would focus on that and focus on what's going to get them to emotionally attach to you. And most of this is about connections and relationships. So when you're here, I don't think age is anything to do with it, because you're great at any age, right? And I hope it doesn't, because we're all aging. yeah, I would focus, because your account is primarily your dog, right?
Yeah, 90%.
Yeah. I mean, it's never stopped me or an agency, anyone on my team from hiring, because most of the time, one, we don't necessarily care how old you are or what you are, or we just want to make sure you're treating your animal well and, you know, that you're the right fit for the brand. And brands are so much more focused now on the analytics of your page. They're much more focused on if you have fake followers, like why would I be paying? I mean, you have to see the numbers that we see. Like if you have 2 accounts with 1 million followers, right? One of them has a quality audience of 17,000. The other one has a quality audience of 800,000 because they don't have fake followers. And they're at the same price point. Who do you think the brand is going after? Like that's something that they're looking at more so than that. But also, the thing when we're speaking with them is like, hey, I like this influencer story. I have a bulldog and I want to work with this bulldog. They're brands and the people hiring are very emotional about that, and they make their decisions. Even if this one is more expensive, I like border collies, or I like British short hair cats. Like that is what they're doing. Yeah, I went on another long, I hope that answered all the questions. Any other questions? I will stay here all day, guys. I'm a talker. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. So I'm not an influencer. I didn't know what this session was about, but I'm so glad I'm here because I've been looking to meet influencers and creators. I have a brand, a product that just came out in December, and so I'm with the stage now that I need help. I need help with promotions, marketing, sales, influence, whatever. But I've started reaching out to people on Instagram, on Facebook, but no one is responding to me.
Yeah.
So do you have any recommendations? I mean, now I have your list because I'm here, right, to go find talent. But besides that, I couldn't find any, it's just been difficult for me to find influencers. Do you have any recommendations?
Yes, well, hire me.
Yeah.
No. There's a few different ways, and I think the other thing is that influencers are they're bombarded with fake brands reaching out to them all the time and promising them the world and not giving them anything, right? See, everyone in here is nodding. Look at all these guys moving. And it's really difficult for them to weed through that.
Well, what do you mean by fake brands?
Anyone want to give an example on this? Go for it. Yeah.
I get an email so my dog's name is Walter. And I get an email from a male shaving product company. Dear Walter, blah, blah, blah. He's a dog. Like, we're not even looking at his account. Or all the DMs that I get.
I get Dear Deaf.
Right.
Or Dead.
I have one right here. Yeah, I have one right here.
Yeah.
My dog's, there's a fake.
Yeah, so there's a problem on both sides because brands are also getting inundated by influencers promising them the world and then they ghost them when they get the product. So there's the trust between both sides has been broken. And we're obviously trying to fix it, and I think it's hard on both sides. Like, I'm not trying to be a downer on this because I love this industry. Like, this industry is so much fun. Does everyone have fun in this industry, right? Like, it's so great. We get to work with pets all the time. I mean, back to your question, sorry. Back to your question. Yeah, I would create a casting call. We'll get you set up here, and I feel like if you want to show your product to people here, and I personally, for me, I like supporting small businesses. I like supporting woman-owned businesses. If a bigger brand wants to hire me or someone that I know has a budget, which I don't do or work with a lot of influencers, but I'm just talking for me. When I'm here, I'd like to promote those things. And, even if you have an affiliate or a way for them to make some kind of money off of it, even though you're like, hey, I'm a startup, I'm a small woman-owned business, I think just being authentic and sincere, and I think that's for both sides. Like, you're able to tell your organic story, that's when people get hired. When brands, hey, we're doing this campaign and an influencer reaches out to them and they forward them to us, hey, I want to work with them because of their dog has 3 legs and they seem really cool. Like, it's always for a reason that they want to do it. And I think for you and your brand, it's the same thing, but going to them. Like, you're a small woman-owned business, you're just getting started, and you're looking for some partners. And it's a really cool product. It's a feeder that helps if you have ants or bugs. Like, it's a pretty cool thing to stop that, but it's a boat.
Thanks, Colleen.
Anytime.
If anyone wants to work with me, please.
Yeah.
Can I add one thing that is, I'm sure you just showed me one thing.
Yes.
The DMs that are from somebody other than, they don't come right from the brand.
Oh, those are the most sketchy.
So if the appeal comes from you, from the brand's account, not from some other.
Yeah.
spammy-
On your personal page.
Yeah.
Was that QR code, I don't know if anyone else is having this issue, but that one kept bringing me to the Pets list network. Was that supposed to be a different link?
Oh, it could have been. Sorry.
No, I don't.
I can shoot you an email too if you want. I mean, my email's on the bottom, so if you have any questions, you can email me and my out of office is up and they'll get back to you. I can get back to this week. Are there any other questions? I do have to go to they have me doing a meet and greet. I'm always like, I don't know.
So you briefly mentioned that I guess things that brands are like for when they look for partnership or they look for influencers, they kind of look at the rate or like the engagement rate that the influencers get. Can you kind of like go more in depth about that? Because I just want to learn how to navigate that space and how well my dog is performing.
Yeah. So here's the thing about me. I developed the valuation for pet influencers based on analytical data. And I'm really proud of that. So basically how that works, so everyone knows their engagement rate, right? Like you all kind of have the basic knowledge of engagement. So there's also something called your quality audience, which your quality audience is basically taking out, so our platform, hold on, let me pull up my keynote, guys. This is great. Let me just show you this one slide. Nope, don't want you. Let me just show you this real quick, hold on. Okay. This is just a much better way to. Okay, so this is our internal tool that we use. This is just, visually, it's easier for me to explain. So when we're working with these influencers, we have their follower counts here, right? We can macro and mid-tier influencer. But when we're pulling out quality audience based off of a follower count, there's quality score, engagement. So this is their TikTok, and you click over here, we have their Instagram numbers pop up. And this would be what their valuation score pulls in if they should be valued higher. So we have the industry standard for follower count, and then based on the engagement and quality audience, there's a scale. So anyone with 100,000 followers is gonna be higher than someone at 10,000, but that's not actually the case because your quality audience could be so much higher at 10K that you could be demanding a higher price point than someone that has 1 million followers. I have an influencer that has 10,000 followers on TikTok, and she converts over 10,000 in sales every month for brands. That is more than an account that I have that's been trying to do it for 10 years that has 1 million followers. So there are people that are converting more, and that's what brands care about. So then there's also the audience demographics, and that little thing in the corner that you probably can't read has what their mass followers are, some fake followers as well. So those are numbers that we can see, and then your audience demographics. So the blue line is male and the pink line is female. Where the audience, almost all influencers right now, it kind of looks like this. And then your geographic information. So if you're an influencer, so there's so much more that goes into it than just like the fun. Like, you carefully want to ask me that question because I can talk for days. So there's more that goes into this number, and like think of a brand that is marketing only to the United States, right? And they're just getting launched and they have a limited budget. Okay, and they have, let's say it's $1,000 budget, and they have these, two influencers with 500,000 followers or 100,000, whatever, making that percent. And one of those influencers has a 52% audience follower in the US. And I hope when you all go home, you go and look at your analytics if you're not looking at them right now. Say they have a much higher audience in the United States. Now, the reason that million account that I just mentioned isn't converting sales is because their primary audience, they're 20% US. They're in Bangladesh. Their other audience is over in China because of the type of account it is. So that isn't as desirable to brands. However, she's really professional to work with and people love working with her, and that's why she gets booked. So There's so many things at play, and every person that hires us has a different value system. But when you're talking about your quality audience and your engagement rate, and that's how those numbers are developed. Did I fully answer your question? Yeah?
Yeah,
Okay,
no, that's
perfect.
really helpful.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Okay, great. Is there any other questions? Okay.
Okay, so obviously TikTok and Instagram are like king right now,
Mhm.
but I am like growing like exponentially on Facebook.
Okay.
Is that something that brands kind of look into as well?
Right
I have
now,
decent engagement on TikTok, but like my engagement is crazy on Facebook.
that's awesome. Congratulations. Facebook is a really good creator fund. Like, that's probably where I would recommend that. Honestly, in the 10 years of doing business, the amount of Facebook campaigns have always been just add-ons. But I will say, when it's a great add-on for brands to have, because a lot of brands that need an older audience, they're also saying, I want Facebook as well. Because like, so we have TikTok is the youngest, and then Instagram is more millennial, and then boomers and millennials too, some of them, older millennials, is primarily Facebook. So when they are looking for an older audience, it's always like, hey, I want an Instagrammer that also is good on Facebook. But the amount of times we've been reached out to for a Facebook collab, it's probably less than 10.
I mostly just ask because like that's where like I get the most out, like the creator fund.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's really good for the creator fund. Facebook is doing a really good job with it. So I would focus on it for that, in all transparency, and keep kicking butt at that, because that's a really good place to be with their creator fund. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's all the time I have, because I have to go over to a meet and greet, and you guys, yeah, I have like 10 minutes to maybe chat to people and then run over there. Or you can come with me, because I think no one else will be coming, so. Just much. Thank you.